What if everything you believe about your computer is wrong? Where does your data really go the instant you click open? Does it stay inside your SSD? Or is something much more mysterious happening behind the scenes? Every day, you save photos, videos, games, and documents, believing they're safely stored inside your SSD or hard drive. But is that the whole truth? What if I told you your computer never uses your files directly from the SSD? Sounds impossible, doesn't it? Yet every single time you open a file, an invisible race begins. In less than a second, your data speeds through RAM, flies into ultra-fast cache, passes through tiny CPU registers, travels across powerful memory controllers, and sometimes even reaches the GPU before the processor can finally use it. And here's the question that changes everything. Why does your computer go through all this trouble? Why not simply read everything straight from the SSD? Wouldn't that be much easier? The answer is surprising. If computers worked that way, games would take forever to load. Imagine building the perfect memory. A single chip that's incredibly fast, stores unlimited data, costs almost nothing, and never loses your files. It sounds like the perfect solution, but there's one problem. Physics won't allow it. Every type of memory has its own strengths and weaknesses. Some are unbelievably fast, but they're tiny and expensive. Others can store huge amounts of data, but they're much slower. Some keep your files even when the power is off, while others lose everything the moment your computer shuts down. That's why engineers didn't build one perfect memory. Instead, they created a memory hierarchy, a team of different memory technologies, each designed for a specific job. Think of it like a relay race. Each memory type passes data to the next, making sure the processor always has what it needs exactly when it needs it. This clever design is the real reason your computer feels so fast. Now let's see how this memory hierarchy actually works. Start at the very center of your computer is the CPU, the brain that performs billions of calculations every second. But here's the surprising part. The CPU doesn't grab data directly from your SSD. Instead, it relies on a carefully designed memory hierarchy. The closest memory is called registers. These are the fastest storage locations in the entire computer, where the CPU keeps the data it needs right now. Just outside the registers are the L1, L2, and L3 cache. These caches store frequently. Use data so the CPU doesn't have to wait for it again and again. Next comes RAM, which holds much more data than cache but takes a little longer to access. And if you're playing a game or editing videos, your GPU uses its own high-speed memory called RAM to store textures, images, and graphics data. Notice the pattern. The closer memory is to the processor, the faster it becomes but the smaller it gets. The farther away it is, the more data it can store but the slower it becomes. That simple trade-off is the secret behind every modern computer. Now let's move to the bottom of the memory hierarchy: storage. This is where your games, photos, videos, applications, and operating system are stored when you're not using them. Today, most computers use either an SSD or a hard drive. An SSD stores data inside billions of tiny flash memory cells that trap electrons, allowing your files to stay safe even when the power is turned off. That's why it's called non-volatile memory. A hard drive works very differently. Instead of electronic memory cells, it uses spinning magnetic disks and a moving reed, write head to find your data. Because it has physical moving parts, it takes much longer to access files. That's why an SSD feels dramatically faster than a hard drive. But here's something many people don't realize. Your CPU never works directly from your SSD or hard drive. Instead, your files first move into RAM. Then the most important data is copied into cache, and finally into the CPU's registers, where the processor can use it instantly. This constant movement of data is what makes your computer feel fast Not all memory is created equal. RAM stores data temporarily and loses it when the power is turned off. Cache is much faster, keeping frequently used data close to the CPU, while registers are the fastest memory of all, holding the processor's next instruction. AI pushes this even further with high-bandwidth memory, moving enormous amounts of data at incredible speed. Together, your SSD, RAM, cache, and registers form a powerful memory ecosystem that powers every modern computer and AI system. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, make sure to hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating videos about how technology really works. And don't forget to press the bell icon so you never